In this video we're going to review the Tandoor oven I made in the garden with flower pots. Lots of positive feedback regarding these Tandoors and lots of questions, and keep supplying us the feedback. I really appreciate it. Now, one of the questions people say is, if I make one, how long will it last? So that's why I'm doing a review of the Tandoor ovens now. So take the one on the right. This oven is now 13 months old, so this is the one I use most of the time. And the one on the left, that's now, well, it's over 2 years old. But let's focus on this one, because this is the one I use all the time. And this hasn't moved for the last 14 months. So that stays out in the garden all year round. Sun, rain, snow, ice, the lot. So the first thing, so let's really look at it. First thing is look at the outside. Let me see if I can show you better. But if you look on the outside, it's like perfectly fine. No cracks or anything. So it looks as beautiful now as it did when I first made it. Looking at the insulation, that's still as good as it was 13 months ago. Just to remind everyone, this is vermiculite. People have used other insulations such as lava rocks or even sand. Some people had good results in sand, and some people had bad results in sand. And typically the people who have bad results in sand is the outside pot lands up cracking. I'm taking it because a lot more heat goes to the outside pot. One thing I would say is, because we're quite a big pot, this vermiculite has sunk. I have topped it up a bit and it's sunk again, and really because a lot of, you can see it's big here, but it's very soft, and a lot of it's being crushed. So I think next time I might mix some perlite, which is a harder sort of stone, in with vermiculite to keep the substance. So that's all outside. That looks good. Let's look inside. So the first thing we'll say is, I hope you can see that. I can't really see on my screen. First thing we'll say is the oven's been cleaned. I get asked lots of questions, how do you clean the oven? If so, check out this video here on the left, and that shows you how to clean the oven, or how I clean it. Now let's have a closer look inside. So the wall here is perfect. I can try and zoom in a bit, but there's no cracks at all. But I do have cracks in the bottom pot. So if I can zoom in on where the cracks are, he says, not easy there. So you can see there's one crack there, goes up the side. If you look down the bottom, there is quite a few cracks. If I try and put my finger in, whoops, you might be able to hear that, where the bottom is all cracked away. And I have one more crack, which is just here, fine crack going down there. That's it for cracks. Yeah, they've been there from day one. Well, the ones on the side have, and then the bottoms have started cracking a bit more. To be honest, it doesn't cause a problem for me. I still cook with it. It doesn't affect the performance. If I was concerned, then literally all I have to do is just take all the vermiculite out, take this piece off, and just replace this bottom pot. New pot, new oven again. But as I said, why bother? It works, it cooks, and everything is working fine. One thing I have done, which you might have seen for my cooking, is I now put a grid around this bit here. Now, for the grid that goes along this ridge at the top there, originally I was going to use the grid from a disposable barbecue and just cut it to size. But I actually found this piece of metal grid. It was circular, but I had to cut the bit off the edge, the two edges here, just so I can fit it in to the oven. So literally all I do is just slide it in like that and then put it on the ridge. So I'll just take that away now. So now you see. And now I cook on there. So I've been cooking a lot of steak on that, and other bits and pieces, and obviously my bread as well. Once again, on my channel you can see lots of those videos. So that's it on the grid. So the other couple of things I wanted to mention was naan. So I do cook a reasonable amount of naan. So some people are saying, well, how do you cook on the side? Because it's often a bit smoky or sooty. literally I just clean the soot off before I cook. The other thing is, you notice in the first video I made, I cooked naans and I burnt most of the naans. That was the first time I'd ever cooked naans. Subsequent naans are not burnt because I've learnt my lesson. And the first thing I learned is this is very hot. So before I cook a naan, I always wet it down to cool it down a bit, and it gives you perfect naans. And is there anything else I want to add here? Oh, I forgot to mention this vermiculite. It's important you keep this dry, so I do keep a cover on top of the oven. It used to be a tray, an upside down tray, a saucer, but that's now been used for other plants, so I now just put a plastic bag over the top. Now I think it might be a good idea to actually fire up the oven and let you see how it's performing in the heating. When it comes to lighting the oven, for me that's really simple. I literally just put the coals on, put the fluid, put the lid on, or light it and then put the lid on, and then come back in half hour to see how things are. Some people have problems. Some people put a mesh on the bottom to lift it up through airflow, but I don't have a problem with airflow because you can see how many holes I've got there, and then there's a big gap between the pot underneath which has another 3 big holes. So my problem is possibly too much air coming in, and that's why I put the lid on to slow down the airflow. Okay, I'm now going to light the oven up, and we can come back and check the temperatures after 15 minutes, half hour and 45 minutes. The oven is lit. I put the grid in there with a temperature gauge on there because I wanted to tell you what the temperature is. So it's just gone 12 o'clock. I will come back in 15 minutes, every 15 minutes, check what the temperature is. So what I'm going to do is, you see how big the flames are, so I'm going to put the cover on the top now to slow it down a bit. And then I'll come back in 15 minutes. I just want to show you how the lid affects the airflow. So with the lid on, as you can see, there's quite a bit of smoke coming out there. And not many, if I look down, the flames are quite low. But if I take the lid off, suddenly the smoke starts going away, and the flames are coming up more and more. You might even see that some flames licking the top here. Or better still, let me show you. So this has been running 5 minutes. Let me show you inside. That's what it looks like after 5 minutes. This has now been going 15 minutes, so let's check the temperature. Oh, well, that's good in there. So, I don't know if you can read that, but that's telling me it's 400 Celsius. So what's that, about 780 Fahrenheit. And actually that's not 15 minutes, that's 20 minutes. That's not bad, that's 20 minutes, put that back in, and actually, as I've got a hot oven, I might as well do some cooking. So I will, I think I'll sort out some vegetable kebabs, and I've got some fish in the fridge. Right. It is now half an hour after we lit the tandoor. Let me just check on the temperature. Yeah. So what are we at now? So, oops. I don't know if you can read. So the temperature there is telling me it is about 450 Celsius. What's that? About 840 Fahrenheit. Okay, that's pretty hot. I reckon that'll be good enough for us to start cooking. Let me just take the grate out. I don't want that in while I'm cooking. One other thing I wanted to share with you, you've seen how hot it is inside, and to give you an idea what the insulation's like. Unfortunately no sizzling, because it's lovely, and you can feel a little bit of warmth. If you come down the bottom, yeah, I can just hold my hands right the way down the bottom, no problem at all. So yeah, if I put my hands in here, you can actually feel some of the warmth. I couldn't keep my fingers. I can just do it. I can't go any deeper. I went down about that much. It starts getting hot, but actually on the sides here, easy to touch. So no worries about people burning themselves. So we're going to cook vegetable kebabs and mackerel with chilli and a garlic sauce. So vegetable kebabs, pretty simple. Just cut vegetables up and put them on a skewer. Got some halloumi in there. I'm not sure that's going to goes so well. I've got a feeling that might melt. As to the mackerel, I have to confess I didn't do this. I just bought this from the supermarket, from the fresh fish counter. So please try your fresh fish counters at your supermarket. So this is mackerel with chilli and garlic. The only other thing I'd say is for the ladies in the house, if you're trying to get your men to eat more fish, get them to make a tandoor. You know, since I've made the tandoor, I must be having fish on average twice a week now, or fish or seafood. So, okay, let's put this in the oven to cook. And there is our fish and vegetables in the tandoor, so we'll leave that cooking for a little while. I think I might just put a little bit of couscous on for that. So there is the dinner plated, up after about 10-15 minutes. All in all, this is finished. My meal cooked after 45 minutes after lighting the tandoor. So not only did you get a review, you got a cooking meal as well. So if you enjoyed this video and want to see more of these videos, please subscribe to my channel here. Or if you want to see how this oven was actually made, click out the link here. And thank you for watching.